Welcome back to the channel, everybody, where we are going through every single athlete that is competing at this year's World's Strongest Man. I'm bringing you as much information about them as I possibly can do. We're going through all of the events in the heats, in the group stages, in the finals, and I'm going to see how I think they're going to get on. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget, we're also doing a giveaway at 1,000 subscribers, so it's in your best interest to just subscribe. Also hit the like button, also comment down below anything that you think is necessary or relevant to the video, or just anything that you want to comment in general. The last video that I did was on Austin Andrade. Now, I don't want to spoil anything, but I think it's going to be a pretty good year for Austin, so I'm going to leave a link to that one in the description of this video here, or you can just head over to my channel and check out all of the other episodes that I have already done. Today, though, we're leaving the States and we're going to head over to New Zealand, and we're going to talk about a giant of a man, that being Mathew Ragg. Now, Mathew Ragg first made his appearance at the World's Strongest Man all the way back in 2023, and he managed to make the final on his first attempt. Now, we did finish 9th in the final, but still, making it there in the first place is an achievement in itself. He then won New Zealand's Strongest Man later on in the year when he won every single event, and then after that he went to the Giants Live World Tour Finals where he placed second and got his ticket to the World's Strongest Man 2024. In 2024, a lot of people were speaking about Matt Ragg as being a potential to make the podium at the World's Strongest Man, and he was very close. He finished half a point behind Evan Singleton that year, who of course finished in 3rd place, so he picked up a 4th place finish in only his 2nd appearance at the World's Strongest Man. He had some difficult performances later on in 2024, failing to make the podium at both of the Giants Lives that he did. He also finished 12th out of 16 at the Strongest Man on Earth, and then placed 7th out of 10 at the Rogue Invitational. He returned to the World's Strongest Man in 2025 and again failed to deliver. He finished last in his group and failed to make it through to the final for the very first time in his career. 4 months after this, however, he returned to the Giants Live World Tour Final where he managed to finish in 3rd place, just behind Bryce Johnson, who came in 2nd. With this performance, Matt Ragg earned his spot at this year's World's Strongest Man, so like I've already mentioned, we're going to go through every single event in the heats, every single event in the finals, and talk about how we think he might get on. We're kicking off the heats with the Farmer's Walk into Power Stairs. Now, this is a 40-meter carry, and I believe the weights are about 130 to 140 in each hand, and then you've got the Power Stairs, which is 9 steps. Now, their steps are only 12 inches high, so it's not too bad. So being a tall athlete, it doesn't have its massive advantages, but it's still going to help in this event. And this is an event that I think he can actually do quite well in. He's got a really good grip, and Power Stairs isn't an event that he's bad at. Now, the last time he did a Power Stairs, he did finish 7th out of 12, I believe it was. This was at the Giants Live World Tour Finals. However, that doesn't really tell the whole story. The level of athlete that he was up against are some of the best in the world when it comes to Power Stairs, and he was right in the mix with it. He finished on about 36 seconds and 1st place was about 30 seconds. And he was up against the likes of Hathor Bjornsson, Bryce Johnson, Paddy Haynes, Adam Bishop, Eddie Williams, all of these guys who are extremely good when it comes to Power Stairs. It shows that it's quite a good event for him. So event number 1 kicking off the heat, I think he's going to have a pretty decent performance. Event 2 is going to be the overhead medley, and one thing I will say about Matt, despite the fact that I've just said he's quite fast, is when it comes to the overhead events, he's not the quickest in the world. If you've ever watched his training when he does a log press, he has a lot of little tendencies that he does, which if he was to cut them out, it could be a lot faster. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, head over to his Instagram, take a look. I'm not trying to tell him how to do it, because at the end of the day, he's going to World's Strongest Man. I'm not. But there's certain things that he does in the log press which just take up time for no reason. Now, I know that this event doesn't have a log in it, but still the same rules apply, and he hasn't had the best results when it comes to these style of events, but he is a good overhead lifter in general. So the way that I see this playing out for Matt is that the dumbbells aren't going to be a problem, because I don't think the dumbbells are going to be a problem for anybody, and then it really comes down to whether or not he can get enough reps on that barbell. Now, I think he's capable of it. He has the strength to do it, because if he doesn't manage to, and he's basically relying on speed, then I think he's going to drop quite a few points. But if he can get more reps than the fast guys who are fast but not strong, or not strong enough for the amount of reps, then he's actually going to pick up decent points. So it's really about game plan and execution on this one. I think he's capable of picking up good points, but he has to go out there and do what he needs to do, basically. Does that make sense? That does make sense. I think the max log press in the final actually suits him better than this event does because I can see him dropping some points in it. Then we go to the third event, which is the squat for reps, which is going to be 700 pounds, around 320 kilo. This is something that he's been working really hard on. If you go look at his training, he hit 350 for a triple. That's the most recent video that I can remember seeing at the time of recording, and he looked like he had 1 to 2 reps left in the tank. He's also hit 300 for 10 reps, so I think he's coming into this one looking to pick up really good points, get into that double digits, maybe get an event win in his heat, because he has got strong legs, he is a good squatter, so he needs this event to really bump him up the standings and get him into that final. The fourth event of the heat is a truck pull, and now he has posted a video of him doing a bus pull at New Zealand's Strongest Man, I believe it was, but one thing I will say is that it looked a little bit light. He was moving side to side to begin with, which isn't a great sign. And after, 5-10 meters, he was really trying to catch up with the rope. So I personally don't think that's a great indication of where he's at when it comes to a truck pull. If we look at somebody like Trey Mitchell, who has been training with the Texas lads, all of them have been training together, that was a really tough pull to get it going. Now, we don't know how heavy it's going to be. Maybe they have a better idea of how heavy it's going to be. But if you're training a truck pull, bus pull or whatever, and you're having to try and catch up with the rope, it's not a great indication of where you are in terms of an actual truck pull. Now, is it good to get experience on pulling something? Of course it is, but I don't think that's a perfect thing to go off. I think he can be good at the event because he has a lot of body weight, he's big and strong. That swaying at the start does indicate that he's maybe not got the greatest technique, but maybe it's because it was too light, maybe the conditions weren't the best. We'll have to wait and see when it comes to World's Strongest Man. I think he's got all the tools to be very good at this event. It's just whether or not he can actually execute. So at this point of the competition, I believe that Matt has had 1 good event in the squat and then 3 okay events. Which means coming into the final event, that being the natural stone medley, he's really going to have to put on a good performance. Now, Matt didn't manage to get any of the stones in the natural stone medley last year, but they have taken out the first stone, which is of course the one that he failed on. So hopefully this time around he's going to be able to get some reps. Now, I believe the reason they've done that is to avoid zeros, because they don't want zeros on TV. So I'm pretty sure they're starting with the nickel stones or the Webster stones, which all of them are going to be able to pick up and at least move. They should all really be able to finish it as well. It is hard to say exactly how I think he's going to do in this because he didn't get through that first stone last year. He has all the strength, but does he have the technique? That's something I keep coming back to here with Matt. Can he execute on the day? Now, I think Matt is a really good strongman, but I have to be honest, I don't think the heat events are the best for him. If he can make it through to the final though, I think things are looking up for him. So the final starts with the Kanak medley, and back in 2024, Matt was one of the slowest at the yoke part of that medley, so hopefully he's managed to pick up the speed a little bit on that. He took quite a few seconds to lift it. He's not the quickest when it comes to moving across the ground with weight, so hopefully he's been working on that speed. He just seemed to be a little bit too deliberate. I think he's got the strength, he just needs to pick and go. When it comes to the flip side of things, again, he's a big, strong guy, so he should be good at this. He did do a tire flip event quite a while ago, but he wasn't up against the toughest competition, and it's not going to be exactly the same, so it's kind of difficult to pull the results from that. However, I think it's going to be mid to lower pack for him. I don't see it being an event win. He's just not fast enough, in my honest opinion. The second event of the final is the max log lift, and I did say earlier on in the video that I think this will be a better event for him. Now, his competition PB is 186 kilos. He has recently hit 180 for 3 reps, so I think he's going to be looking to get close to that 200. Now, if he can get close to 200, it should be good for mid-pack. I know Mitchell Hooper recently said he's looking to get 220 in competition at World's Strongest Man, which is quite a heavy lift. I don't know if he's capable of it, if I'm being completely honest, especially at this point in the competition. I think that's the likes of Lucas Hatton, Trey Mitchell, maybe Andre Foy too, for the win. I think Mitchell Hooper's probably topping out around 210, maybe 215 at a push, depending on what the jumps are. But if Matt can come in, get a solid PB on this event, close to that 200 mark, then I think it's going to be pretty decent points. He'll start the final, in my opinion, with a mid to lower pack and then mid pack event. We then move on to event 3, which is the Titans toss, and throwing is something that he's actually really good at. In the heat last year, he managed to hit 9 out of 10 bags, which is more than a lot of the other athletes did. So if he can get all 10 in the final, where only 2 people managed it last year across the whole 25-man field, then it should really be a top 3, because I can't see that many people improving that drastically and being able to get all 10. So I think on this one, Matt's good for a top 3 finish. I just don't see him beating the likes of Tom Stoltman because it will come down to speed. Event 4 then is the deadlift for reps, and it is a Trump style deadlift. So you have 400 kilos and 360 kilos. Any amount of reps on the 400 beats any amount of reps on the 360. Now, Matt is a really good deadlifter, whether that be for max or whether that be for reps. So coming into this one, I think he's going to be looking at that 400 bar, looking to get a few reps on it and try and secure a top 3 finish. And I definitely think he's capable of doing so. He has pulled some massive weights in the past and he's looking really strong in training. So yeah, I think he's going to have back-to-back 3rd place or top 3 finishes in these 2 events. And then we finish the competition with the Atlas stones. Now, Matt is a really solid stone lifter. He didn't manage to complete the entire run back in 2024, but with a little bit more experience, a bit more strength gained, I think he's going to be looking to complete the whole run. Do I think he'll do it? I don't know. I think he has the capability. It just depends on the fatigue at this point in the competition. And if he's right up there with the chance to get on the podium, I think he's going to be able to do it. Now, I say in a lot of videos that I've already done that completing this entire run is something that is extremely difficult to do. However, this year, I have the feeling that we're going to see quite a few athletes finish. I think up to 5 athletes have the potential of finishing this run. I think last year we only saw 2, and I think the most we've ever seen is maybe 6 people in the final finish it. So if we can get 5 people finishing this run in the final, then that really shows exactly where we're at in terms of strongman and how good everybody is. So all in all, I think if Matt can make it through to the final, then the events in the final are much better for him than the events in the heat. Now, I know he's been training the heat events really, really hard from what I've seen on his Instagram, so hopefully he's in good shape and he's ready to come and get into a final once again. He is currently 2 out of 3, so it's smart money to bet that he can do it. It's just looking at the events, I think it might be a bit of a struggle. Let me know in the comment section down below how you think Big Matt Ragg is going to get on at this year's competition. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.